Jess Kurti had always had a passion for volunteering at her local food bank. But in 2012, when her department at the company she worked for was downsized, she started seeing firsthand how the face of hunger was changing. Co-workers were struggling to make ends meet, and after relocating to Orlando herself, Jess made it a mission to create awareness about hunger throughout the country, and in a unique way.
I still didn't kind of know what I wanted to do. So the head of my new training group in Orlando is a 50-state marathon runner, and I decided, well, why don't I travel and run some marathons, and then I'll volunteer across the country. So that's what I did. And so in 2013, I took off, and I did exactly that. And I just volunteered at different food banks to give back to the communities I was so fortunate enough to visit. And it's just gradually evolved. In about October of 2014, it became just as important to get the food banks in the states I was visiting, if not more important, than the marathons. I saw that the end of the running a marathon in every state was going to end, and I thought, well, what do I want to do after that? So after the end of that road trip, I came home, and I was at a volunteer appreciation lunch, and I asked the director of Second Harvest Food Bank of Central Florida if anybody had volunteered at all the Feeding America food banks, and he said no, and I said, I think I'll go do that. I wanted to move into a life of service over self. I was getting more and more passionate about hunger relief, and so it became a thing. I would run a marathon and volunteer at the food banks, or try to volunteer at the food banks in every state, and it became what it is now.
Jess has traveled across the country and seen so many different places, and while each food bank may be different, there are a few similarities.
Just besides the dedication of just thousands of volunteers and food bank employees, just the good-naturedness of people across the country. It might be cliche, but we're definitely more similar than we are different, and if we could all keep that in our consciousness.
With 200 food banks in the Feeding America network, it's quite a challenge that Jess has taken on, but she's over halfway done.
I'm at 117 out of the 200 food banks, and I'll run my 71st marathon this weekend in Joplin Memorial Marathon, and then I will keep going until about this time next year. I should be wrapping it up, hopefully ending huge. I don't know what that is yet, but I'd like to do something special for the last food bank and the final marathon. Well, the 100th marathon. I don't know if it'll be my final marathon, but definitely the 100th.
You can follow Jess's progress on Facebook at the Beast of Burden Challenge.